Hey, everybody. If you've been watching this space for a very long time, especially last week, you knew that there was supposed to be another subject, a different subject to this podcast today. We were going to interview Prince Stash. We're going to continue to do that. But this came up and it became more prescient. It became more important that I do. I watched an article or saw a video today from Ecom King that declared that because of Trump's tariffs, dropshipping is dead. It's not dead. Everybody says that dropshipping is dead. They said that email was dead. Look at how that turns out. In today's episode of Straight Talk Commerce Podcast, I'm going to break down why dropshipping is not only alive in 2025, but it's smarter, faster, and more legitimate than ever. I'm Wayne Altman. This is Straight Talk Commerce Podcast. It begins in 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
No fluff, no hype, just the real deal. Wayne Altman's here, yeah, you know the drill. Talking business, talking shop, making moves non-stop. From e-com to hustle, straight talk, no props. Straight talk, no gimmicks, no lies. Hey, I break it down with the sharpest minds. Money, moves, mindset, grind. If you're ready to win, then tune in live. Big names, big games, all the lessons they bring. From Jelly Belly to AA Kings. From the startup grind to the top tier pros. We crack the code, now here we go. Straight talk, commerce, getting to know with Wayne Altman. Let's start the show.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Thank you for joining me yet again. I went to Chicago over the weekend to watch my youngest daughter play volleyball. And while I was gone, it seems like some of the bigger names, some of the top guys in e-commerce were pulling their hair out and telling everyone that drop shipping was dead, that someone had miraculously slain drop shipping for everybody, and that the Trump tariffs had ruined drop shipping for everyone. And I had to chuckle. I was like, I don't know what fantasy land you're living in, but I'm doing just fine. And I thought it would be interesting to go into where that myth, the drop shipping is dead narrative, where it comes from. And, certainly it felt true for a little while for a lot of us, especially during COVID. Some of us got really pinched a little bit and had to scramble and find new things, but we bounced back very, very quickly. And it was fine. There was slow shipping problems. There was low quality of goods that were coming from some of our suppliers. And we've always had pretty bad service when it comes to that. But if you're smart and you follow this program, you know that you can onshore production of your products, really no matter where they are. Find new sources for your products. Doesn't matter really what your products are. If you're determined that you're going to sell cheap crap from China, from other countries, it's your business that's dead, sir. It's really not drop shipping. Drop shipping is a solid model, will be here for years and years and years after you and I are long, long gone. E-commerce has evolved. And yes, it looks like the days of being able to source products very cheaply, have cheap logistics from one source, we're going to have to change that model. And we should have. We should have done that on our own, but we did not choose to do that. We had to have the President of the United States step in and kind of force the issue, and good for him for doing that, in my opinion. I think that what we're doing is nothing short of miraculous. Tell you a quick story. I have a survival store. And during COVID, shipping had stopped. Global shipping had pretty much stopped. Boxes and containers were stacked at the port of Long Beach near where I am and all over the place. And it really unnerved me. I thought, man, this is absolutely crazy. What am I going to do? And very quickly, I realized that there were other sources of product made in the United States. That's where I am. Made in the United States, and I could avail myself of those products. I could find better quality products in some cases, different products altogether in other in other cases, but I could source those products for my customers in the United States, for my customers outside of the United States. Took a little bit more effort, a little bit more work, but I was able to source third-party countries, Vietnam being one of them, Cambodia, a lot of production there, Philippines, another, in India. So depending on where my customers were, that my list of sourcing for those products grew. And agreements, I've got a binder sitting right next to me of agreements from different places, varying tariffs on all of those things, but there are ways to work around that. That is how e-commerce is supposed to work, and it evolved. If you're thinking in the terms of a Shopify store where you're only selling, you got a one-page website and you're selling some electronic gizmo or whatever, and that's your idea of a drop shipping company, well, then you were never in the game to begin with. Quite frankly, if your idea is slapping up a Facebook ad and selling as many possible things as you can, like a lot of these YouTube guys do, you were never, I got news for you, you were never in drop shipping to begin with. And sure, you made a lot of money on one or two quick hits, but dig a little bit deeper into those books and you'll see a lot of fails as well, as I have discovered. So real businesses use drop shipping as a foundation, and they evolve from there. They emulsify their products, they spread their products, they make different products, and they become and they morph as the business climate morphs, just like a regular business does, or they wither and they die on the vine as well they should. So yes, it felt true for a little bit that, the slow shipping times and the low quality and the bad service. But guess what? If you open a donut shop that offers bad quality, bad service, and you are slow to make the donuts every single morning, your business is you're gonna go out of business in the mom and pop donut shop on the corner. No big whoop. That's the way business is operated. Drop shipping in 2025 looks more like US-based suppliers, 3PLs, and hybrid fulfillment. In other words, those products that you cannot source in the United States, or for my foreign listeners, the place where you live, those products that you cannot source where you live, those are the ones that you want to pay close attention to, even closer attention to, because you're going to have to find alternatives. You're going to have to find those alternatives in countries, in productions that are going to closely emulate where you live. You're going to absolutely have to do that, or you're going to have to remove them from your repertoire. You're going to have to remove them from your business because you just can't sell that product at a cheap enough cost for people to buy it. And no amount of Facebook advertising, no amount of Google ads are going to help you cover that hump. That is how business is done. So I don't know where everybody gets this idea that e-commerce was all about these cheap products from Temu, Alibaba, AliExpress, where that whole thing started. I think a lot of us started in that area, and some of us never evolved off of that. And so some of that, I think that's where it comes from. Using AI as well to power your research and to use it for automation tools to help you with fulfillment, help you write really banging content. A lot of people have not availed themselves of that privilege, of that ability yet, and it's catching up. So all of the people that are hand-wringing and talking about e-commerce being dead, on you, because you're just behind the curve. You're just, on the outside looking in, and a little bit of sour grapes, I think. You're watching other people in this business that are making it work, are surviving and thriving, by the way, and you want to kind of even the score a little bit with these people. You need what is called a mindset shift. You need to start building a brand and start building brand equity in that brand. Stop worrying so much about your revenue. It has always irritated me. The first thing that people asked me when they talked about my e-commerce business is, how much did you make on this? How much did you make on that? Really, not only is it not any of your business, but number two, it is not a judge of how your business is going. If you make a lot of revenue on a product, but your reputation is absolute garbage, guess what? It's a very short-lived. But if you've been in this business for 10 years, 15 years, and you've made a very comfortable, very nice living, and you've built a brand that people can actually trust and count on, you're in the dropshipping business. You are doing e-commerce. Not the guy that lucks out and does some thing with some crap with lights on it and a fidget spinner and does a quick pop on Facebook and, voila, you made $100,000. Great. But how much did you spend to get that money? Testing products, validating offers, scaling quickly, all of those things are present in 2025. It's not like it was in 2010, 2018, 2020 even. You must scale a lot quicker. You must do your A/B testing. That cycle needs to take place a little bit quicker than it did back then. They should make it very clear that e-commerce or dropshipping is not dead. It's just not for the faint of heart. It may have died for a lot of people that are very clumsy and don't know what they're doing. But let me tell you, brother, there are a lot of us out there that are doing just fine in this business model. And it pains me to see that because of them and because that they are more popular on some of these platforms, that someone somewhere could get the wrong idea, the wrong impression. Really, to be honest with you, doesn't matter. You and I cannot wish something away. Reality is reality, and it will win out. The user-generated content revolution. What exactly is user-generated content, and why does it outperform traditional advertising? User-generated content goes on Instagram. It is as self-explanatory. It is a way to explain your products to people. It is your ability to sell products to somebody at any price. I tell this story all the time. When I was in college, I was in University of Mannheim. And I was sitting in a class, I forget what it was, a business class. The professor had a German Shepherd that would sit right in front of his desk every day. And one day he walked in with a brown paper bag in his hand. And the dog took its place, and the professor went to the board and turned around and asked everyone in the room, how many of you think that I could sell the contents of this bag for 100 marks? Well, without even looking around me, I raised my hand. And I didn't realize that no one else in the room had raised their hand. And so he looks at me and he says, Herr Altman, what makes you think that I could sell you don't even know what is in this bag? And I said, well, I got to correct myself. I don't know whether or not you can sell the content of that bag. Judging by the dog, I can pretty much guess what's in the bag. I said, and if you can't sell the content of that bag for 100 marks, I know that I can. I find the right person and the right circumstances, and that I would be able to sell the content of that bag. I think we all can guess what was in the bag. He picked it up from the dog. How's that? He laughed. Everybody in the room was like, oh yeah, that's kind of, it's kind of crazy. And I went on to detail to him, hey, look, if you know someone that has a rose garden, that would be perfect to put in their rose garden. It has the right amount of chemicals and the right amount of fertilizer for roses, and they're going to grow just fine. And that's how you would sell the content of that bag. Well, needless to say, he very quickly agreed with me. He said, look, I had this whole thing planned out. I didn't know that someone was going to say this, and I had a whole different lesson planned, but of course, you're right. Yes, the right person at the right place at the right time is going to want to buy what it is I have in this bag. That is user-generated content kind of in a nutshell. You are out there trying to explain to people the benefits and features of purchasing what it is you are trying to sell. And if you're smart, you are going to sell on the benefit to the customer. You are not going to worry about the features of your product. Let me say that again. You always want to sell the benefit to the customer, and by that you have to ask them questions and you have to get on the same page with them, not on the features of the product, because you may try to sell me features that do not apply to me. You, by finding out how it will benefit me, will be able to sell me and everybody else way quicker, because you have honed in on the benefit to that person. That's what user-generated content helps you do. Some really great examples of user-generated content would be your first impression, your unboxing videos on YouTube or TikTok. Your before and after transformations. If you were talking about maybe a certain brand of makeup, or maybe you were talking about a hair product that you were trying to sell to people. A TikTok made me buy it. There's a massive trend on TikTok right now where a creator hops on, tests a product, and has a fun little twist on it. And that works really well when you can actually use user-generated content to show people how the product is actually going to be used. Another really great way is problem versus solution skit. You see that on TikTok a lot, very short form. Not so much on YouTube, but it's very good for shorts. Someone acts out a very relatable problem, and then someone comes in with your product and provides them a great solution. A very good example of user-generated content, and this is going back a while, is the Will It Blend group of videos. The Blend Tech blender. They would blend iPhones and iPads and all kinds of things that you would not expect a blender to be able to turn into fine powder. And they would put it in this blender, turn it on high, and a few moments later, you'd end up with just a pile of ashes where this thing was able to blend it. Now, what do you think it does to chopped ice? What do you think it does to blend the foods and things that you need? It was amazing, and they sold a ton of blenders because of that, and very expensive blenders, by the way. So I love that whole idea of actually being able to perform using your products. And if you're not doing that, you really need to avail yourself of that ability. If you've got certain winner products, some MVPs, user-generated content is really going to help you sell a lot of those things. A couple weeks ago with Stash, we did a lot of videos on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, where we talked about Stash, talking and answering questions for people. So it doesn't have to be actual product either. It can be for live events as well. So you have the ability now where you did not have a few years ago, and I hope you guys are taking notes and listening to this. You have the same ability today that major corporations really can't do as well as you have the ability to do them. You really have an advantage here when it comes to user-generated content. Most of those large corporations, the Targets, the Walmarts, the Kmarts, their user-generated content always comes off way more corporate than people really want to stomach. You have the ability to have someone with personality come in, show your product off, and do that. And you're very nimble, fast on your feet. Those are the type of things that really make this idea glow, make it sing. So there's some examples, or maybe even a day in the life of using the product. You see that trend all the time on TikTok as well, where somebody shows, here I'm making a coffee and I'm putting this mushroom blend in it and all of those. And they use your product casually throughout the day, showing, hey, this is the benefit that you're going to receive. And they stop with all the features. It really does make a difference. You can also have user-generated content where you get other people involved, duets and replies to people in the comments. You have the ability to interact with your customers on a one-on-one or a one-on-one plus an audience of 50,000, the way that these bigger brands do not have. No one is sifting through the Wendy's, well, maybe Wendy's is a bad example, but no one is sifting through the Macy's comments and watching that interaction. But you're going to have the ability, you have the option of far more engagement than someone like that is going to have. You can even involve animals, pet reactions, videos. People love cat and dog things. Pets trying out your products, whether it's a bed or a toy or a carrier or any type of relatable, shareable content is, prime real estate for these soft sell commercial type content UGCs, right? And then to wrap it up, a comparison video. They started it with the Pepsi challenge, right? The Cola Wars. Started it with the Pepsi challenge. But you can take your products and fight them to the death. Do A/B testing right in front of everybody for them to see. All of these things cost zero money to produce, by the way. And you can share those on your social media as part of your user-generated content. So if you're not doing that, then yes, perhaps dropshipping is dead for you, I suppose. I don't know how people neglect this type of stuff. Give me a few minutes. We'll come right back. But more than anything, you should think of dropshipping as a launch pad, not as a final destination. Let me say that again. Dropshipping is a launch pad. It is not the final destination. The low risk, high skill nature of dropshipping model. Low risk because you are not investing in warehouses full of product that you may or may not be able to sell. This is a come and purchase as you are type business. There is none greater. If you doubt me, go buy a warehouse full of Amazon products and then have the pressure of actually selling them. The dropshipping model is the best model, in my opinion, not the one that's dying. You should be focused on marketing, your copy, your customer experience. That's what you should be focused on when you are dealing with a dropshipping model or any e-commerce business. You should not be concerned by warehouses full of product that just don't seem to be selling for you anymore. They were hot, they're not. Putting yourself in that kind of situation, putting yourself behind that kind of 8-ball, that is a recipe for disaster, whether you're selling fishing gear or whether you're selling camping gear or whatever you're selling. Clothing, doesn't matter. You have at your fingertips tools and platforms that are extremely popular in 2025. Whether it's Spocket, whether it's CJ, Zendrop, TikTok Shop, you have tools that they did not have. I did not have when I started. And they did not have up until even a couple of years ago. which goes further to prove that dropshipping is a healthy model. Why would all of these tools come out to assist you in a dying product or a dying business? It makes absolutely no sense. And you can find creators and freelancers for user-generated content just by asking around. Just by shaking the trees around you, these people fall out like crazy. I've shared with you my friend that does makeup tutorials. 10,000 subscribers on Instagram, yet makes close to $200,000 a year by doing that. So that if you get good at user-generated content, that's the key. Really having people respond to you. By the way, she has way more than 10,000 followers now, so congrats to her. You can scale, you can test, and you can scale a product in under 30 days with a drop shipping model. And why do I say that? Because you do not have the upfront cost of owning a warehouse full and pallets full and people to bag and to package all of these products for you. You can do it in the it's already done for you in the drop shipping model. 1s, 2s, 3s, 10s. So, it only makes sense if you're just starting off, and even well into your career, the dropshipping model makes perfect sense. What makes a winning product in 2025 is not whether it's a cool gadget or hot-looking summer wear. No. Products that are mainstays, that are classic, that people have been clamoring for 10, 15, 20 years. Those products have been around for a very long time. Find a way to twist them. Find a way to make them sing a little bit brighter or shine them up a little bit and put them with some UGC and really make people have FOMO, fear of missing out on whether or not they're going to purchase this from you. You have way better luck. If you sit on your hands, your business is going to die. But it's not the model that's the problem. You're the problem. You're not sourcing the correct products. You're not doing user-generated content to make people want to buy those products. People will buy products no matter what the tariffs are, no matter what the price is. That is not killing what's killing drop shipping. And if you've been sitting on the sidelines waiting for the perfect product or the perfect moment, let this be your sign. The moment for you is right now. Drop shipping is not dead. It just requires hustle, heart, and some strategy. And most of those things you can get right here at Straight Talk Commerce. We absolutely love motivating our listeners. When you participate, we love motivating and hearing your best stories. And give me your opinions. Tell me if I've got this all wrong. I absolutely love the feedback that I'm getting from you guys. That's all I got for you this week. I really do hope you'll take what I say to heart, and every time you feel beaten, every time you feel like you're doing the wrong thing, you'll come back, you'll listen to this, and it'll push you to go even deeper and even further. I'm Wayne Altman. This is Straight Talk Commerce Podcast. Have a great week.
No hype, just the real deal. Wayne Altman's here, yeah, you know the drill. Talking business, talking shop, making moves non-stop. From e-com to hustle, straight talk, no props. Straight talk, no gimmicks, no lies. Hey, I break it down with the sharpest minds. Money, moves, mindset, grind. If you're ready to win, then tune in live. Big names, big games, all the lessons they bring. From Jelly Belly to AA Kings. From the startup grind to the top tier pros. We crack the code, now here we go. Straight talk, commerce, getting to know with Wayne Altman. Let's start the show.